Hi, everyone. Welcome. So grateful to have you here with us today and joining us as we have a fun discussion on hand and even some visual aids for once. So, hey, check us out. I'm Doug Cothey. I am the founder and principal consultant for the People Group. People Group. Well, I can't even talk today, Terry. You're in trouble. People Smart Group, and also the founder of the Organizational Health Collective. People Smart Group, what we do is we help organizations, both for-profits and nonprofits, to build strong culture, strong teams, to build so that they get the best productivity possible, that they handle the people side of the organization as much as they handle the other technical sides of the organization, which is so often, the people side is often neglected or even run away from because people look at the chaos on the people side and they go, I'm going back over to data. I'm going back over to the IT. I'm going back over to the finances. I'm going to stay over there. This whole people stuff is messy, and it can be. And then Organizational Health Collective, what we do there is we're a group of consultants and practitioners who work in this arena, who come together to be the best that we can be at what we do, and we work together on that. So those are those two things, and over to my partner.
And I'm Dr. Terry Wager, consulting generator consulting.
You did that on purpose. You're funny.
Feeling bad over there, messing up words. So we are Generator Consulting, and we work with the people side of business too. There's the smart side, and then there is the healthy side. And when we get our people healthy, we have a much better ability to implement the things that we want to implement when everybody's working together. So we have found that works the best. And what are we talking about today?
That is a great question, and it's probably helpful that we're messy and confused a little bit because, hey, we're going to talk about some confusion and messiness in mission and vision statements. Together, we have, absolutely, Terry. So how many of you have gone through the situation where you're sitting there trying to figure out what in the world is a mission statement versus a vision statement? And then you looked around and you said, holy cow, wait, no one else knows either. I see the definitions. One person defines mission statement as this and vision statement as this, and the other does the exact opposite. And then I look at companies and they do the opposite of each other. And so how in the world do we figure out what is our vision and mission statement, Terry? So that's where we're headed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting because, every business knows they need to make a vision statement or a mission statement. And often, usually it's we need a mission statement, and they don't even think about vision. And then they go about doing it, and then they start looking it up, and then they start borrowing stuff from other people because it sounds good. And one of the other problems is we are confused on top of what these different things are. Is wait a minute, should it be a marketing message, or are we using this to tell everybody what we're all about and shout to the world who we are? And our mission is to blah, blah, blah. So we get marketing mixed up with mission, and we get it mixed up with vision. And then we all just sound like a bunch of people saying the same thing over and over again, expecting somebody to understand what we're talking about. And then the whole idea of differentiating your business comes into play with the marketing message and the vision and the mission. Okay, now we got to differentiate ourselves. So we have all these different things that we're supposed to be doing that makes us stand out, and all we end up doing is freaking out and rendering ourselves very immaterial, because what we've done is made ourselves sound exactly like everybody else who's confused.
Yep, well said. I like that. Yeah, that confusion is just contagious. But yet, the question might be, well, why? Why bother with this stupid mission and vision statement then? If it's going to do is cause me problems, what's the value in it? So what do we use these things for, Terry? What value does a mission statement have? What value does a vision statement have?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because, and I'm sure that you have a version that is similar, maybe different from mine. But when we're looking at getting everybody together, speaking the same language, and creating the clarity that we want, vision is really the most necessary thing. Because if I have a vision for something and other people don't agree with it, they shouldn't be going with me.
Right.
And it's like, hey, I think I want to take a trip out to Houston, and I'm living in Portland. Well, other people here taking a trip, and they go, oh, I want to take a trip too. And so we're all going to take a trip, everybody's going to a different place. And I was like, no, 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 no. The vision was Houston to meet with my buddy Doug. That's the vision, kind of. And in fact, I just mixed a little mission in there. My mission was to meet with you, but my vision is to take a trip to Houston. Okay, that's my North Star. That's where I'm going. And so the idea is when we start to really understand what these are and have them separated and clear, everyone can understand the whys, the wheres, the hows.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all different little statements.
Yep.
And when we get the clarity around it, it makes it very difficult to veer off the path. And so the way Christine and I talk about it, we're the generator, the bullet train of action. You can't have bullet train type action if you have a bunch of confusion in the way. Mm-hmm. And so you want clear tracks moving forward. And we believe that the vision is a clarity of North Star purpose or why, and then the vision is something else completely. Yeah. And so I love it. That's the idea of it. It creates so much clarity when we get specific about answering that one question.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So I heard you say it again and again and again through there, and I'm just going to say it for people's sake as clarity. We want clarity, because the purpose of a mission and a vision statement is totally lost if it's not clear. If it's not simple enough that your people can get it, it's useless. And so often companies are pulling together these grandiose words because they want it to sound great. They want it to sound as this great thing, but if it doesn't actually apply to your people's lives and hearts, it's useless. It has no value. And so if you don't get the clarity, you don't get the simplicity of it, you're going to lose the value of the statement itself in your company and even externally. And so many companies are also focused externally of, hey, who do we want to please? And we become people pleasers in these statements rather than, guess what? Why did we get in this business for the first place? What are we doing?
Absolutely.
And so we love to back that down to those questions of why are we here? Why do we do what we do? And what do we do? And when you get there, you get really simple. You take away the confusion, you take away the other things. And so that is a key way that we look at and we walk through with companies how to get to that clarity. But we're going to do a little bit different today. We're going to pull up some mission and vision statements of various companies that you know. And we're going to show you how there's confusion even among these large companies in what is what. What's the what? What's the why? And then sometimes maybe they're all together. Maybe we're totally confused. And so I'm going to pull that up now. And Terry and I are just going to give you a little bit of insight and input on those things. So here's our first one, Terry. We got Nike and Coca-Cola, two long-standing companies with great reputations. And yet, what do we see? The mission for Nike really defines their what? To bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So if you have a body, you're an athlete. Okay, that's a what? Sort of, yes, fully, I'd say. But to remain the most authentic, connected, and distinctive brand is their why. That's the why do we exist? We want to do this, right?
Right.
Flip it around for Coca-Cola. Their mission statement is their why. And their vision statement is their what. They craft brands and drinks that people love. It's their what. But that's under vision. And yet, to refresh the world in mind, body, and spirit, which is that big, audacious claim, they put under mission. And so Here we are. If I'm making a mission or vision statement, I'm confused, Terry. Which is it? Which is which?
Right. And when we're working with people, and honestly, we came up with this topic. I'll be honest. Christine and I are moving into a new venture, and we asked Doug to walk us through our clarity conversation around vision and mission, because this is a separate business from our generator business. But we like to see if the vision and the mission all kind of align with the different businesses we do, or are we just jumping into something completely different? And so as we were discussing this, we were noticing that there is a tendency for all different businesses to get this confusion going on. And, what are you listing? How are you listing it? Where is it coming from? Why are you doing this in the first place? And I think that when we're looking at Nikes, um, they get confused. And I'm not saying that Nike's confused, but I'm saying the vision and the mission get confused because, and in fact, their vision seems much more like even moving into strategic anchors almost and looking at, well, we want to be a distinctive brand. Well, that's one way that you connect. Yeah. And maybe connected to everything is another how you do it to be distinct. This is the how of it. And how we succeed, which is another question in clarity questions. And so how do we succeed? Well, we're going to be a distinctive brand. We're going to be connected to all of the different sports. We're going to be authentic in what we provide. And authentic is just a buzzword anyway that really doesn't mean a whole lot because everybody is their most authentic selves from a subjective point of view. And so, and like, I'm being authentic. Well, everybody's watching me do something totally opposite of what I usually do. I think I'm authentic. Now I'm not so authentic. I just convinced myself I am. And I might add here that from right here, the shoulders up, we all have lie machines. So authenticity is very difficult unless you're in front of a group of people who can really bring to your attention where you're not being authentic. And so for me, those move into really more strategic anchors about how we're going to do what we want to do in our vision. And when I say do what we want to do, that's the mission. And so what do we want to do? We want to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. Okay, that could be a good mission. But why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? And that's the thing is like, this is what we do. Okay, great. And so I think that they're right that the mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete, but maybe why is kind of what's going on with that. And so they have a little bit of mission. They have a little bit of strategic anchors. I'm not sure your take on it, because it could be that their why is to bring inspiration and motivation to every athlete because maybe they weren't inspired. But we got to understand, and that's the conversation that we want to have with a company around this is like, is that a why or is that a what?
Yep. And that's a great question. And I love that you're bringing out the interconnectedness of the two as well, right? Yeah. Because that's the other piece is sometimes they're so disconnected. And like you're bringing that out as well. If I see, to remain the most authentic, connected, and distinctive brand, as opposed to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. Well, what if authentic, connected, and distinctive doesn't really do much for me to cause me to feel inspired?
Right.
And what does that have to do with innovation? And so it's, distinctive, and innovation. Okay, those can kind of go together. But again, I love what you're saying of this is answering more the how question. How do we differentiate from other companies, in our space? But it's not necessarily answering the why. And why really has to deal with the heart of your people and your customers and yourself of what drives you. And what's your purpose? What's behind it, right?
Yeah, and I think that it's funny because they also have to remain the most authentic, and then they have in a parenthetical statement, if you have a body, you're an athlete, and that's just not true. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people with bodies that aren't athletes. They don't want to be an athlete. They don't want to work out. They don't want to. And so I think that if we were going to make that more authentic, if you want to work out, you're an athlete. If you want to take care of your body physically, you're an athlete. And maybe that's just me. And I don't want to beat up on Nike or anything, but the idea of authenticity is when we're looking at authenticity, we got to call as we see it. There's some people out there that are not athletes.
Yep. Very, very well said.
And there has been times that I am an athlete, and there has been times that I am not an athlete, and I can tell by how my body feels, and I can tell by how my body reacts.
Mhm.
to athletic situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does authentic mean
Mhm.
when we're looking at that? And so and that, that word also gets drawn into and brought into uh, behavioral values often, or
Mhm.
core values, where we're just throwing words up there and not operationalizing them too.
Yeah.
And so
Well
there's
said.
a lot of mishmash involved
Yeah.
in this particular one.
I love it. Yep. So good. And so we don't pick on just Nike and Coca-Cola. We just want to let you know they're not the only two companies that are mixed up. So let's keep going and be equal opportunity for some others here.
Opportunity passion.
We got Apple and Tesla here. And Apple is renowned for their sense of purpose. And you can see their why down there on the under vision, to create the best products on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. Now, that kind of mixes the two again, though, because creating the best products on earth versus leaving the world better than we found it. The aspiration is leaving the world better than we found it, right? And
Absolutely.
then up above that, mission, the what, to bring the best user experience to customers through innovative hardware, software, and services. Again, that fits as a what. Some of that could flesh out into a how.
It
But
really does. There feels like there's a lot of strategic anchors there. It
mhm,
it also moves into something that we don't necessarily talk about, but it's important. And Christine and I do differentiate this particular thing I'm going to say in a second, and that is promise. What is the promise that you're delivering?
mhm, yeah,
And our 6 questions of clarity don't hit promise. So we have a little seventh question in there. What is the promise that you're offering? And so I think that that's really neat. And to bring the best user experience to customers is more of a promise than a mission
yeah,
or a vision
yeah,
or a strategic
yeah,
anchor.
right, right,
It's the brand promise. Okay, great.
right.
Now,
So here we're into marketing.
separating these out, we start to
Yeah,
really go, oh, okay, now we know what they're all about. But
yeah,
again, the best product on earth, um, to creates, okay, this is
mhm,
what we do.
yep, yeah,
And as soon as we're going to create something, we are doing it,
yeah,
which is not a vision. It's more of an action. The why we're doing it is the overall vision to leave the
yep,
world a better place. That does sound good. That's
yep,
lofty, and I
yep.
like that. Uh, what do you think, Tesla's?
Well, so let me just sum up there. I think as I hear you talk, what your advice would be, what I would probably agree with, is a simplification down to their vision is to leave the world better than we found it, and
Absolutely.
that their mission is really to create the best products on earth,
Eh,
or to create the best products, or to create innovative hardware and software and services. That probably is what they really do. And so that's really more in that mission. That's what we want to do to accomplish the vision, which is to leave the world better than we found it. And so
Right.
to simplify down to those, it's so much easier for your people to get on board with, well, why are we here? We want to leave the world better than we found it. Okay,
Right.
that's incredible. How do we do that? Or what do we do to do that, right? That's really the question, that what do we do that accomplishes the vision is the mission. And that question is, well, we create innovative hardware, software, and services.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then to bring in the promise, well, what are we
Mhm.
promising our customers? The best user experience.
Yep. Yep. I love it. And so to simplify down, just to help people to think that through, it's like, hey, that makes it really, really simple and clear and memorable. I mean, we get these long statements and it's like, I couldn't regurgitate that. And I don't know how many times, I don't know about you, but I sit down with the C-suite of people, the team, the entire executive team, and sit there. And one of my questions is, okay, I want each of you to write down your mission, your vision, and your values on a piece of paper. And I want to see if you all even know it, let alone if you all have the same one, let alone, and you know how many times it's like confusion. They don't even get it in the boardroom, in the C-suite. So how in the world is your company going to get it? It's
Absolutely.
got to be simple enough.
Yeah. And
Otherwise, your company can't be founded and built around it.
yeah, it's uh, we're going to be building around mud. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever built anything in mud, but it doesn't really stand up very well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's not just for your guy who's got a steel trap memory who can regurgitate it. It's for everybody. So
Right.
everyone's got to be able to remember it. And so Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy is a succinct, quick statement there, which is helpful as a why, but they got their why under mission, which we would say is the why.
I don't know that is a what or a why.
Yeah.
It's almost missing both.
Right.
And so I think that their vision that they've written down is much more to create a compelling, the most compelling. Well, okay. Now we're getting into what I would call a little bit of frothy emotional appeal. And sometimes, and I see this a lot, is and I even do it when we're talking about visions. Okay, how can we get this more emotional so we pull people in more? But is it really because it's aspirationally emotion driven, or is it frothy emotional appeal? And we have to also kind of understand the difference between those. And one is to try to get people to care. That's frothy emotional appeal. But the other is aspirational, emotion driven, is you can feel it and it drives you to want to be a part of it. And so there's almost an icky feeling to the frothy emotional appeal.
Yeah.
While there's I'm on board with the aspirational value of that idea.
Yeah. I like it.
And honestly, I think that it's difficult, and I would want to sit down with the people at Tesla and go, okay, what is this? Why do you want to do that? And I think that Elon Musk has actually said his vision many times that isn't quite that, as much as I want to save the world.
Yeah.
Right. And they want to make the world more sustainable. And I think that's more of their vision is to make the world more sustainable, which kind of is a little bit of what the mission is saying, but it gets in there into what we are doing instead of why we want to do this stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Let's continue to pick on some other companies here. Walmart, LinkedIn. And again, the vision, mission and vision are again, whether you define them as the why and the what and the why for these two companies, but they get the two separate and different. And it's like, okay, which is right? You got a why for mission for Walmart, but you got the why for vision for LinkedIn. And then, to save people money so they can live better. Hey, that is a great why to me. You're like, hey, we want to save people money and help them live better. Good. That's a great why. That can motivate me. I want to help people. But to me, that's the vision. No, that's the why. That's not the mission. And then to be the destination for customers to save money, no matter how they want to shop. Well, that's a what. It's a little aspirational again, though, as opposed to what you actually do. Well, we are building the destination for customers to come and save money, no matter what they want to shop for. We want to be we're building that, or we're creating that, or we're, but just to be that is a little aspirational.
Right. Especially against Amazon.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Nice. And then LinkedIn, we've got, to connect the world professionals and make them more productive and successful. That's a good what for them. I mean, that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Creating the platform for that connection to happen. But then they got to create again under the vision to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Now that is definitely aspirational.
Yeah. And those are pretty darn close, but I think just getting rid of, creating it, it's you're not creating the opportunity. The opportunity is there. And so it's, and so like we have both said, these are all very close because and this is the problem with the muddiness is
Mhm.
we get into the confusion, which the confusion is worldwide, and we start to use one for another. And where I see this, and I talked to Doug about this earlier, is I work with, I'm a behaviorist that focuses on emotion as the driver of behavior. And if we don't have the behavior and the emotion separated in their rightful places, we get confused about what's behavior and what's emotion. And as a result, what happens is we start to be redundant talking about our behavior, saying we're feeling our behavior instead of feeling the emotion that drives our behavior. And then we lose the ability to communicate at the level that is so important for interactional identification or interpersonal identification,
Mhm.
and to really be clear on what's going on with me as a person. If I'm sitting there saying I'm angry, which is a behavior because you did something, well, I'm not identifying emotion at all, and I'm never going to release the emotion around it to be able to have a clear conversation. I'm just going to stay angry and maybe even get more angry and then attack you because, well, you made me angry. Well,
Mhm.
no, we got to get the emotion in there, which is I'm angry because I feel powerless and I don't like that feeling. I feel disappointed and I don't like that feeling. And so angry is my first stop to realizing that I need to have a conversation with somebody.
Mhm.
And then I need to be able to share the emotion. Well, same thing with vision and mission. If I'm confused about vision and mission, I'm doing something that is supposed to be aspiration driven rather than uh, what I'm really doing. And like the way I kind of describe vision is it's our North Star where we're going. If I'm trying to do where we're going, that
Mhm.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if I'm trying to go, okay, this is where we're going, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. And it's the same thing with the behavior and emotion. I'm having these behaviors, therefore, I'm having these emotions that I'm unaware of.
Mhm.
When I share what I'm emotional about, now I can connect with people. But I can't do the connection as emotion. I have to do the connection behaviorally. And so it's funny because I'm probably confusing people as I'm saying this, but the confusion is worldwide because we have the difference in our language and how we talk about it. And people go, that's just semantics. And the reality is semantics definition is the meaning of words.
Mhm.
And we don't pay attention to the meaning of words as much as we should sometimes, because if we did, we'd have a whole lot more clarity.
Yeah.
And so we, instead of the meaning of the words, we'd go for the meaning of what we meant.
Yeah.
And well, what I meant was, and when
Right.
then, right, but that's not what you said.
Mhm.
And so it goes back to the authenticity of that one that we looked at earlier. Is like, oh, what is authentic?
Mhm.
Oh, well, we got to back up even more and go before we get authentic, we got to get clarity.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
And
very
clarity
hard to be
requires good
authentic without
communication,
clarity.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the idea that I want to define all my words and have nuance and semantics to the words doesn't really help in a statement that I want other people to grab onto and hold on to because they have to get my definition before they can do that. Right.
Right.
And communication is matters what the receiver thinks you're saying. Just what you think you're saying doesn't help. You got to make sure the receiver can understand what you're saying. And if they can't, you totally missed them.
And that's one of the biggest reasons that you don't want to come up with your vision and mission alone, or in
Mm,
uh, we asked Doug to be a third party to our coming up with vision and mission, and then um, Christine was asking me, "Hey, do we want to do this?" To get a jump on our strategic anchors and have a conversation in the amoeba of strategic anchors. And I was like, I do not want to do that alone because I will galvanize us right back into what I've already said that I think is really good. I
mhm,
need a third party to guide me
yeah.
off of the track that I've already been on into the wider possibility of what we really, or how we're really going to succeed, rather than what I've decided is my strategic anchors, because there is a very different, a very, how do I put this? There's a very different idea of how I think I'm going to succeed versus what all that we do in the process of what we do, that we can pick out and go, this is how you're going to succeed. And so how I think I'm going to succeed, which is when I decide that these are my strategic anchors, versus doing the discovery of all of the things we do and then categorize it into what are those three for sure. From an objective point of view, there's a very big difference between the subjective, this is what I think it is, versus this is what we're saying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Also,
this is why we want to have a third party involved in it that isn't part of the group inside.
yeah. Well, I think there's an important point there too. Even as we look at, say, Walmart and LinkedIn, we look at Apple, we look at Nike, we look at these companies. It's not that they didn't do great work to come to these statements. It's that they probably needed some other voices in the room to go, well, this is how that impacts me. So why would you say it that way? I'm confused. You need feedback in the process. If you don't get feedback in the process, you're going to end up, basically saying what you would say in a fishbowl to one another. You got this echo chamber going, and you all agree. Of course, you all agree. But does the people outside the room understand what you're saying? And so internal uses of your mission and vision statement, are they going to have the impact you think they're going to have with everyone who's outside of the room? Are they going to have the impact customer-wise, even in the way for people that are outside the room, other stakeholders-wise? Are they going to have the impact you think they're going to have? Unless you bring outsiders into the process, you're never going to know until you get there. And even then, you're probably not going to know for quite a while. And you're going to find out way too late in the process.
Yeah, and that reminds me of one of my mentors, a wonderful, direct, in-your-face kind of guy, Larry Wingate, used to say to me when we were working together, we were writing my book, Quick Taking Your Own Bad Advice, and we were doing some other speaking from the stage kind of thing. He always used to say, you have to grab people in a way that they don't just go, so what? To save people money so they can live better lives. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough? And it might be, if that's a vision statement instead of a mission statement, and if it's connected to the emotional aspiration of why, but the way it's written right there, it really doesn't feel to me, just reading it right there, go, oh yeah, well, great. Everybody says they want to save money. In fact, I have, the one below that is LinkedIn. I have a bunch of marketers telling me that they're going to give me leads and save me money while they take it all. And they're like, wait, are you saving me money? Are you charging me money? What's going on here? It's confusing. And so it really is, what's the so what factor in there as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so there's a sense in which, you could even bring that down, that first statement down as a vision statement, not as a mission statement, but to even the point of, we want to make people's lives better, substantively better, right? And then what are you going to do to do that? Well, we're going to save them money through the way we operate, the thing that we do. Again, it gets too convoluted and too complicated.
Absolutely.
And so we make it so that it's like, to be the destination for customers to save money no matter how they want to shop. Well, that kind of just got, yes, I get you wanted to incorporate, hey, we do it online, we do it in stores, we want to be a destination. I get all that stuff. But that, again, really probably is coming down more into some strategic anchors than into what do you do? Well, what I do is I provide low-cost products and services to people to make their lives better. And to make their lives better is not a part of the mission statement. That's the vision. That's how we're fulfilling the vision, by what we do. And so again, and here's another great one, is where people continue to mishmash things together. And so I'm going to jump forward to Samsung and even IBM. It's like, okay, well, what is this? They get these big long statements, and sometimes the statements actually say the same things in the different statement. and you're like, wait, what? And so, I mean, this Samsung mission, we're going to inspire the world with our innovative technologies, products, and designs that enrich people's lives. Okay, so you're enriching people's lives. You want to enrich people's lives. That sounds like a why. But then you're going to inspire the world with our innovative technology, products, and design. That's what you're going to do. But yet also many of those statements really are how you're going to set yourself apart with innovative technologies, products, and design.
Well, and then they just repeat themselves in the vision.
Right.
And
You're going
I want to know. I want to know, and this is again, I don't want to attack, but just looking at the words, create the future. Doesn't the future create itself?
Right. Are you that powerful?
I mean, every moment that the day goes by, the future is creating itself.
Right.
What does that mean as far as what Samsung is doing? And I have Samsung TVs all over my house. I love the company. I mean, I love their product.
I'm on a Samsung monitor right here.
But they haven't created my future.
No. Yeah.
So I want to know what that means.
Yeah. Well, and it's too just grandiose and too out there to really actually have an impact on my art and my life. It's like, you're going to create the future. Number one. Number two, I can sit here mentally and pick it apart and go, really? So you're going to be the only product and only thing, the only company that is in my future. So I got to eliminate all the other companies. You're creating the future. It's like, it's a little vague.
It's a lot vague. And trust me, I mean, I've been through my vague times with my company, and I've been through my vagueness with other companies. And, people go, what do you do? Well, I'm consult. Want a vague word? There you go. That's a vague word, consulting.
Yeah.
And so I get the idea of we use vagueness sometimes, but in this situation, create the future leaves more questions than direction.
Yep.
Other than that's in the future sometime.
Right. So, and just to say, I mean, we're not sitting here as, we're smarter than these people. These are brilliant people, brilliant business people that come up with these things. But our niche, our expertise place is, how do we bring clarity? How do we bring focus? How do we bring and make these things useful so that it has the impact that would be desired in your company? So that it has the impact that would be desired in getting you better results, getting you better productivity, getting you where you want to go quicker, faster, and more successfully. And so that's our niche. That's our specialty. So even as we critique these, I'm not saying, hey, there are more brilliant people than me that came up with these things. So don't hear what we're not saying. But what we are saying is, hey, we could offer some help here of saying, hey, this is some ways you could actually bring this down to make it actually more useful and more memorable. And so it actually fulfills the what we really want it to fulfill.
So it becomes the tracks that your business is riding, and because creating the future, inspiring the world and creating the future, how are you going to actually create any kind of people system around that? And how are you going to, hey, we're going to go create the future. Oh, do you want to come along? Well, yeah. What does that mean? And it's kind of like a shotgun blast right to your freaking cranium around. Well, I don't know what that means. How are we going to do this?
Visual.
Creating the future.
Yeah.
It's too amorphous.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, I'll say for me, you just said you want to inspire the world, which I'm a part of. And your statement of creating the future doesn't inspire me because I can't grasp it. I can't understand it. I'm confused by it. And so even your desire to inspire just was lost on that next part of the statement.
And Doug is rhyming now. And so IBM to lead the invention, development, and manufacture of industry's most advanced information technologies. Where's
that go?
Well, an engineer did that one.
I mean,
okay.
You look at that and you're like, Is that really a mission? We're going to lead the invention, development, and manufacture of the industry's most advanced information technology. It sounds aspirational, not what we do.
Honestly, it
Well,
sounds
what do
like
you do to do that?
there's a lot of anchors in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Lead in invention and development, that those feel much more strategy driven rather than,
Hmm.
and that, I think that's why I was like, those sound like
Yeah.
engineer wrote them, is because it goes in, somebody thinking about how they're going to do something
Yep.
rather than what they're doing.
Too many qualifiers, right? I mean, you got too many adjectives. It's like, why are we doing all this qualifying of what we do? We make advanced information technology.
Yeah.
And then why do or why we do that has to be down to that vision. And again, that vision is sort of a bleh, what is this? It's like to be the world's most successful and important information technology company. To tell you what, as your customer, I'm so motivated by that. Not
For who? That's
right,
where, the Larry Wingingism kind of,
right.
so what? Or for
Yeah,
who?
yeah,
How is that drawing me in?
yeah, yeah. You want to be important and successful. Great, that's good for you.
Everybody
I mean,
does.
there's that sense in which you're going to lose people, right?
Everybody that wants to be important and successful wants to be important and successful, and they want to be the most.
Right. All right, let's jump forward here. Intel, Google. And again, here you see, I mean, the mix-up of is this mission? Is this vision? Is this anchors? I mean, it seems
Yeah,
like you're.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, even that first statement, it's right to shape the future of technology. That sounds like you're the lone one in the industry, but then further to a better and more connected world. Well, if you want to help build a better and more connected world, that would be a vision.
That sounds like a really good vision.
Yeah.
And then shaping the future of technology sounds more like a mission.
Yeah. But they've
And
mishmashed it.
then their vision statement, if we're going to break it down to what that is, that's a marketing message.
Absolutely. Yeah. That has nothing to do with mission or vision.
Yeah. If it's smart and
That's your
connected,
tagline in your commercial.
it is best with Intel. I don't even, I would leave. I honestly, I'm not a marketer, so don't beat me up on this. Well, I mean, I guess you can. We're beating them up. But if it's smart and connected, it's Intel. That's what I would write on it. And I would use it as a marketing message.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And then we got Google. I mean, their two sound very similar as well, right? To organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. To who? And then to provide access to the world's information in one click. So your phone is providing me access in one click. Okay. Maybe. I mean, all the different conglomeration of things that Google does, are they really all about one click? I don't know. And that's really more of your mission than your vision. So you're kind of backward. It's not really. You're providing.
And there, I don't know that there is in those. And again, those are great ideas of what they want, but why they want that, what is the purpose that drives the people at Google? I think the information should be universally accessible and useful for everyone. We're getting somewhere around there, but
yeah.
And that might be more of a belief kind of. Our vision is to make it more accessible for everyone. We're getting there, but it really needs to be teased out a little bit more of why.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The why just isn't really there.
And the why is right under it. I can feel it. I can feel it, what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I can understand that in what they want to do, they want to make it as fast as possible. Okay, that's the idea of the one click. But again, what you said, that their vision seems much more mission driven. rather than vision driven.
Yep.
Or it's, provide access to world's information in one click. Okay, that is really probably a very, very good mission statement.
Yeah.
But the why, and in fact, I think we're going too fast anyway, this world.
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit.
Nice.
Slow down.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, but your why needs to still just be less. I mean, this is all so tangible to what they do. Your why needs to actually get bigger to be, make information universally accessible and useful. Okay.
Right.
And even there, you got two,
what
information
I think is going on,
being universally accessible, useful.
What I think is going on is they've got a strategic anchor or two in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
And so, and this is, like I said, confusion is worldwide, business wide, and we get confused with what our strategic anchors are or how we're going to succeed versus why we're doing it.
Yep.
And it's very hard to wake up if we don't wake up and go to work every day, especially on the days that you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you're discouraged and feeling like you just want to not work ever again and go to Mexico. If you don't have the why in place and you just have a strategic anchor or two, the strategic anchors aren't going to get you there. How I'm going to do it isn't going to be the fuel for why I go try.
Yep. Yeah.
The why makes us try. Now I'm going to rhyme. The strategic anchors is just how we're going to do it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we've got a bunch more here. I'm just going to flip through them and get to a next section here. But we had Procter & Gamble and Unilever, two very similar type companies and conglomerates. And this would give you a chance to think about how hard is it for a conglomerate to come up with a true mission statement and a vision statement that moves the entire group, moves the entire company. And that gets really hard when you start putting together companies that do very vastly different things. And so that's one of those questions for a conglomerate is, do we really fit together? Do we really go together? And so that's a key question, and you can see it can get a little messed up and mixed together. And then you got companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson in the drug industry, and just again that sense of, hey, what's the what, what's the why, can get really confusing there, as you see with Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. But to jump forward, and even let's get down to dictionary definition level. And you just see different dictionary definition of a mission is a specific task with which a person or group is charged, right? It's a specific task. And even in that second one, a pre-established and often self-imposed objective or purpose. Now, we're not thinking core purpose, your high purpose. That's where that vision comes in. But there is a sense of, hey, what do I accomplish is my purpose, is my objective, that what? And so again, in a mission statement, something that states the purpose or goal of a business or organization. It really has to get down to the what we do, though. That specific task has to be the purpose or goal.
What we do.
Yep, what we do.
That
vision.
We do.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
I was just saying that thing we do. This is what we do. When we get clear on that, it makes it so much easier because we don't drift.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then vision, I guess here you go, Merriam-Webster again. A thought, concept, or object formed by the imagination, the act or power of imagination, a mode of seeing or conceiving, usually discernment or foresight, a person of vision, right? This is what a leader is. They're a visionary, right? They're casting a vision, something way out in front that isn't necessarily, hey, we can obtain this easily, quickly, or maybe even ever fully. I mean, we can obtain it in small chunks, but we're never probably fully going to fulfill it. It's out there. It's in the mind and heart of people that this is something that they want to see happen in the world.
Yes.
And so those are key pieces when you think of what is a mission and vision statement. I like this. There's some more. Terry's got a lot more that he put in as well that I think is really helpful. But again, mission statements, what do? They outline the specific and concrete business objectives of an organization, aka the what. What does a vision statement do? It outlines the organization's ultimate future aspirations. You're painting a desired future with your vision statement. And that's your why. Why do we exist? For this future. We exist for that future.
And as Doug is saying that with that vision statement, this is that direct future. This is where we're going. One of the ways I kind of describe it is the vision is our North Star, and it anchors our mission, and it anchors our values of how we behave to what we're doing. And so, and what we're doing is the mission. And so the vision is the North Star, the direction we're going with what we're doing. That is really key when we can separate, okay, North Star, where we're going, what we're doing, it makes it so much easier and more clear. And as we go through, whether it's Doug doing it or Christine and I doing it with you as a business, once we create that clarity between these 6 questions, and let's get clear on this. The vision statement is why we exist. Question number 1, why we exist as a company. And question 3 is what do we do? And in between it is question 2, which is how do we behave? And so seeing that this is where we're going and seeing that this is what we're doing, now how do we behave as we do it? And together those 3 really help us move forward faster in any business we're in. But the key is short, clear statements. And when we're very clear about it, it's easy to move forward. It's kind of like having the lights on in a maze, and we can see exactly where we're going. We can see where the walls are. We can see how to move forward. There's arrows on the ground telling us exactly how to get out. That's clarity of vision, mission, and behaviors we value. And I say it that way on purpose. It's not just words stuck up on the wall, but it's really actionable behaviors that we value to move us forward and communicate together. If we don't have those, or they're murky or muddy, it's like living in a maze with the lights off, and we can't tell where we're going, and we keep bumping into stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. And to give an example of, I mean, the vision, the why, isn't always just easily acquired from the what. It's the other way around. The what is driving, the why is driving or pulling along. The what is how we're seeking to accomplish the why. And so I love the story that I've heard, at least of Chick-fil-A, that, you know, that hearing the statement that they would say, we're not primarily a chicken company. We're a company that does customer service who happens to sell chicken. And so their focus is on the people and how they impact people's lives. And they do that by selling chicken. Chicken is the vehicle. It's the what we do. And so even in that, as we talk about the 6 questions, your number 1, your vision, and then your number 2 question, which is your values and true values, how do we behave? Those never, ever, ever change. They're in concrete. The mission can shift because guess what? Life changes. Now, again, it shifts over a long, long period. It's not this mission drift reality that often happens where, oh, well, we can do that and we can do a little bit of that and we can pull this in too. No, it's where we're going, what we're doing on the path to achieve that. And at times, how to get there changes. And so at times in an organization's long life, the what may change a little bit, but the why never does. And the how we behave never does. And those create the culture of our organization. It's our core purpose and our core values that are so central. What do we do? Who are we? And how do we behave? Those are central in that piece. What's that big picture vision of where we are going? Everyone in your organization is going to be aligned around that, and to create the right culture. And everyone's going to be aligned about how do we behave to create culture that actually drives us forward with great force and speed, and alignment and engagement. People are worried about, how do I find the right employees, or how do I keep my employees engaged? Well, guess what? Have a vision, a core purpose, a why that is actually succinct and grabs people's hearts. And then secondly, have the values really clear and align everyone with those 2 things. and get them behind the what because of those two things.
Absolutely. And when we do that, and this is my experience of when companies do that, when companies can get clear on their vision and get clear on their mission and have a very clear, this is how we behave, core values, aspirational values, and pay to play values, when we have those three questions locked in, no matter how we succeed, we get people interested in staying with us as we move forward to succeed, doing what we do, because they bought in. And it isn't a money issue anymore. And it isn't, you can't find good people. The reason people can't find good people is because they're taking anybody that they can get, instead of screening out using the best screening material ever, which is your vision and your mission and your values. That is the best screener you can have when you're working with people. And then, of course, a few really good questions that are derived from those three questions of clarity to really interview right, to remove people who don't fit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a construction company and your goal is to hire someone who can swing a hammer, you're gonna get the type of person that swings a hammer for the highest bidder.
It don't go well.
Right? No, but if you're a construction company, your vision is we want to make people's lives better by what we build, and you're going to get the people who are intrinsically motivated to make people's lives better. And then if you're going to have those core values, those core behaviors, and they line up with that person, well, guess what? They're going to be intrinsically, personally motivated to do the job. They don't need you to motivate them. They're already motivated. Your motivation is just help. It's just assistance. It's just guidance. You're just steering is all you're doing, rather than having to try and create the motivation to do everything. It makes your job easier as a leader to get the right people on the bus. And to do that, you need clarity in terms of your vision. You need clarity in terms of your values, and you need clarity in terms of your mission. And until you get that, you're going to constantly be trying to drag people along with you to a place they don't know where they're going.
And, I would add, and then we probably should wrap up sometime today, maybe tomorrow. One of the biggest reasons people have trouble going faster is because they're continually having to try to refill positions and get clarity around their positions and get clarity around what they need to do. But if they don't get clarity in their vision, they don't have the clarity in their mission that we're talking about, what happens is that murkiness goes into our positions. The murkiness goes into the clients we take. The murkiness goes into the jobs we'll take, depending on what your business is. And so I work with construction companies, and when they didn't have this clear, they thought they did, but they didn't. They were taking whatever job sounded pretty good, and then they were also taking whatever clients had the money to pay for it. And when we went through their vision and their mission and their values, they started removing different clients, and they haven't had headaches the way they were last year in probably about 6 months. And they're like, oh my God, we didn't know it could be this good.
Yeah.
Right. And we work with fast food companies, and they didn't use, they did vision work and they did mission work, but they didn't hire with it. And then they had a whole bunch of people that were contrary to their vision, and they actually had a little bit of a mutiny for a minute with one of their stores because they adopted that store instead of hired in. And none of those people actually fit the mold that they're looking for. And so this is the kind of situation that really it's like somebody, taking a baseball bat to your knees as far as business growth if you don't have these things in place. Because let's get serious. No matter what system you have, no matter how simple the process is to move information forward, if you don't have the people that are rowing the same way, information can't move forward.
Well said. Well said. There's the old adage, ain't nothing, and you're sure to hit it. And a murky vision statement is like aiming at nothing. Let's just be honest. People don't know what they're aiming at, and you're going to hit it. Or you can think through the whole idea of what is 1 degree off, right? Oh, well, if I leave New York and I'm heading for London, but I'm 1 degree off, guess what? I'm never going to make it to London. And so you got to focus everything in your organization on hitting the target. And that's what we're talking about, because we want your organization to succeed. So the question for you is, are you at a place with clarity? Are you at a place with getting people aligned around that clarity that is going to accomplish what you really want to accomplish? And, if you are, that's fantastic. I would continue to encourage you to continue to communicate about that stuff, continue to keep it for your people, continue to align everyone around it. If you're not, I would encourage you should reach out to someone who can help you get through that process. And either one of us would be great and would be thrilled to help you. We know of others that would be thrilled to help you as well. So reach out. We would love to chat, and our information will be in the closing video here, but also I would just encourage you as well, keep checking in, keep coming back. We love giving you all the value we can give you in terms of content. So come back and join us, and we will see you again next week. Bye.